I did a video on the newly released Drafts 5, but since the app came out, I've been using it more and more, and I have to say, Drafts really clicked for me after I released that video. The idea behind Drafts is it's a one-stop place to put all of your text, plus it has powerful, customizable automation tools. I've been using 4 different text apps to cover my various needs, and thanks to the customization of Drafts, I'm down to 1. Let's take a step back and let me show you how I've been using Drafts, and then we can get into the automation side of things. First off, my text editor of choice has to be very organized, especially considering I want to store notes, blog posts, scripts, and more in it. Drafts has a great built-in organization system called Workspaces, and just like the rest of the app, it's completely customizable. I created 5 different spaces to incorporate everything I need for my text editor. I have an all space, notes, scripts, blog post, and junk. My all workspace will show every note, script, piece of text, anything I've written in Drafts will be there. The other 4 are based on tags that are named after the workspace. This way, if I want to just focus on writing a script, I won't see the rest of my documents. Kind of keeps everything a little bit cleaner. To create a workspace, just hit the menu button on the draft list pane. You can save your current view, so if you have a tag open or something, or you can hit new to create a custom one. You can name it, assign a color, or change the way notes are organized within it. You can assign a tag or tags you want to show up in the workspace as well. This is a much cleaner way for me to organize everything. You can also set it to show any or all, meaning it can just have the one of those tags that you search for, or it must have all of the tags you searched for. I also enable the feature to show the quick access tab so I can jump between workspaces faster. I will also tag a document with more tags if I want to be specific about something or might need better filtering when searching. One of my favorite features from Bear that is missing from Drafts is the ability to pin the note to the top. Luckily, Drafts has the ability to flag a note, so I kind of use that as a substitute. With flag notes, they will show up in their own section. I will use this for scripts and blog posts that I'm actively working on or notes that I need to reference a lot. One feature I completely missed when I was going over the app for the first time was the ability to pin the draft or the action list. When one is selected, just tap on the bar and it will be pinned out. This is great for the 12.9-inch iPad because there's so much empty space on it. Now you can see even more of your content on the screen. Search in Drafts is pretty great. You can search for tags, titles, and even contents of notes. Searching from within a workspace will only get you the content that is in the workspace, so make sure you clear any filters you already are using before you start searching. Drafts also supports Spotlight search, so you could just search anywhere from iOS to bring up a note. You may also wish to archive a note instead of deleting it. Archive gets the notes out of the way but puts it in its own folder, so maybe you need to come back to something in a year or so and it'll be there instead of it being completely gone. In my first Drafts video, I talked about the online directory. This is a place where other draft users can upload actions they've created. There are so many great utilities here for working with your documents or sending them to third-party apps. I definitely recommend starting here, find some actions that you can use, and if they aren't 100% what you need, that's okay. You can edit them right in Drafts. You can find a shortcut to the directory in the action list. To edit an action, bring up the action list and swipe in from the left. Then hit edit. You can go as big or as little into editing as you want. You can start by renaming the action, changing the color, or assigning a different icon. If you want to get into what the action does, you can go into the steps area and take a look at how it's set up. To edit a step, just tap on it. A basic action will have 1 or 2 steps. These can be basic things like managing your clipboard, saving something to files, or even running a workflow. Drafts can get more complex too. This is where it shines. It has amazing support for X callback URLs, and it can even support JavaScript as well. Let's take a look at what it takes to build an action from scratch. A task I do often is take my script, make the text bigger, add extra spacing, change the font, and then make them a PDF and open it in GoodNotes. I do this for both my proofreading and VO reading phase. We're going to have a couple of steps to this action, so let's get into it. First, open the action list and hit the plus button. We're going to hit Add New Action. We're going to name this New Script Export. Then we will select the icon and color of the action. I do have my actions color-coded by either what the app is it exports to, or in this case, this will be a utility, so I'll set it to orange. Let's get into steps. Like I've already said, this is where things get really cool. There's so much to do here, it would take me 5 videos to cover everything. Luckily, it's mostly self-explanatory. Definitely take some time to go through this and see what Drafts supports. But if you have questions, feel free to reach out. The first step we're going to use is JavaScript. If you know JavaScript already, there's going to be a ton of stuff you can do with Drafts. If you don't know JavaScript already, there's a lot of resources out there to help you learn it, and it's pretty easy to pick up. I've already prepped some code that I modified from an action that was in the directory already, so we can just paste it in. But there's going to be a couple of things I'd like to change here. So let's take a look at the font size, the font, and the spacing. Once that's done, let's back out and go add a workflow block. There's a couple of things we have to do here. First, we have to give it the workflow name. So let's go over to workflow. I've already pre-built the workflow that we need, but as you can see, it's not very complex. So let's copy the name and paste it into drafts. Next, we need to set the template to script, and you need the brackets. This was set in the JavaScript block, and this defines our document and hands it off to workflow. Under options, we want wait for response to be off. So those are our steps for building this action, but let's finish a couple of things before we save it. Any good programmer comments out what they're doing, so let's write a short description of what this action is. I also like to enable show icon so the action has a bit of a personality. Next, I'll assign a keyboard shortcut if this is going to be an action I use a lot. Under advanced options, I turn off notifications. At the very bottom, you'll see an option to share this to the directory. If you make something original or download and modify something you think will be helpful to others, upload it and see what happens. Later on, if you fix bugs or change anything, you can always re-upload it. I even got the basics for this last action we just created from the directory. It's an amazing resource, and I'll be sure to put a link to the original action in the description below. Let's run our action now and see what happens. As you can see, it runs through the JavaScript, to the workflow, and then to GoodNotes, where it can be marked up. I hope this helps make drafts a little easier to approach. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm on Twitter at Chris_Lolly. If I get enough questions, or you feel like you want even more detail, I can do another video on drafts as well. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.